Hi guys, it's Chris with City Girl Homestead. Time for another meal. So tonight, I am making something I've never tasted, and I've certainly never made. But I have jars that I need to get off my shelf. They're from 9 of 21, so I figured, why not try it? Today's nice and cool outside. Actually, we had to turn the furnace on. So today is perfect soup weather. So we're going to start out with some diced up onions. And I want to dice them up quite small, not real too small, but because they're all going to get turned into soup anyway. So, but they'll cook faster if they're smaller. And so I want to start out by roasting, or not roasting, but cooking up the onion so it's nice and soft. Let's get that started. Now I thought I had this stuff in quarts, but I don't. I have it in pints, and Tom's working overtime tomorrow, so I want enough for him to have for lunch tomorrow too. If not, it's okay. We have stuff downstairs. Alright, so let's get that started. After a few minutes, I'm going to add some garlic to it too, because I think garlic will taste good in it. So that's my own opinion. I don't have a recipe for this. I just kind of looked at a whole bunch of different people's stuff, and well, I'm just doing my own thing, and hopefully it works out. So while this is cooking, I want to say something to you guys. I hope that you learn to can. It's enjoyable. It can be work intensive sometimes. It depends on what you make. But it's so rewarding to have food on your shelves. I'm a firm believer, especially after 2019, that, you know, I had COVID. You know, there's times you can't leave your house. There's, you know, with all the stuff going on right now, a bunch of different things. You know, it could be a job loss or drop in pay or whatever. And you need food on your shelves. So, let me clarify what I mean with food on my shelves. You know, we grew a garden this year, but it was our first year trying onions, and they just weren't successful. They just weren't. Our tomatoes, just like all over the country, it was a bad tomato season. Too much rain, too much heat. Sometimes your gardens fail. That's just all there is to it. We're still getting peppers. We got lots of cucumbers and a few other things we got lots of. So, you know, do I consider it a failure? No. Now, if you don't have a garden or don't have a place for a garden, never ever feel guilty if you go to a farm store or whatever it is to be able to purchase your vegetables and fruits from, to be able to can or to preserve. I told you about deer carrots, and you'll see a couple other channels that they've canned them too. Those are the same exact carrots that you buy at the store, except for at the store they want nice long ones, you know, that are beautiful and whatever. Deer carrots are kind of like twisty or too fat or too skinny, whatever. When you get them in the first part of the season, when they sell them, they are so firm, so crispy, and so sweet. They're really, really good. So if you can those, there's nothing wrong with that. It's not considered, we call them deer carrots here, and people bait piles with them, but they are perfectly preservable, and, you know, there are a couple of really big channels that do it. Never feel that you're less than if you use things that you didn't grow. Also, the reason for recanning is there's a lot of you that recan as well. The reason for recanning is if you can get something at a much lower price than what you would pay for for doing it out on your own or buying from the store, then it makes sense to recan. And is all of it healthy foods and stuff? No, it's not. And, you know, we're trying to get a little bit healthier too, but, you know, the thing being is that it's important that you're able to feed your family. That's the main thing. You have to be able to feed your family. I am not rich, but I am not broke either. I talk about saving money because there's a lot of people out there that are having hardships, and they should be able to feed their families. That doesn't mean that I'm broke or anything like that, you know. Can I stand to save money? You betcha. And if I can save money, I'm gonna. So, that's something I just wanted to say. And if you can, even if you only can broth, or you do this or you do that, you know what? That's one thing that takes off the supply chain, and people aren't stressing about it. So, never ever let anyone convince you that you aren't doing it right because you didn't grow it. Because, like I was talking to Rhoda today, and even farmers, let's say they grow this, this, and this, but they don't grow tomatoes, but they want to preserve them. You think they don't buy them from another farm? Of course they do. Alright, so anyway, we are going to make soup today. Now in 2019, I was given these, or 21, sorry, I was given a bunch of the squash. Now, I did do, some is sweet, and I told Tom, I says, well, some of those are sweet. And he goes, still use it, it'll be fine. So, only thing you're adding is brown sugar when you do that. So, I'm going to add some garlic in there. Because why not? So, I'm going to throw all of this squash in there. Whether it was sweetened or just regular, whatever it happens to be. I drained off all the juices. And hopefully this makes quite a bit of soup. Now for a little bit of a different taste, I canned some carrots in 2022. And we're going to add those to it too. So now, before I do anything up, like, you know, you grind it up and all that good stuff, I'm going to let everything warm up so it's easier. And maybe it can get, for lack of a better word, mushy on its own before I have to do that. So, I'm going to let this cook for a little bit, and then I'll come back and hopefully I'm going to do something that'll turn into a really, really good squash soup. Okay, so just cooking it that few minutes, look how it's really broke it down quite a bit. So now, if you don't have an immersion blender, you can actually use your, I don't know what they call them, and you can blend it yourself in there. But I'm going to take my immersion blender, and I want this to be, it's not going to be per se creamy, I don't think, until I add other stuff to it. But I want the chunks to be broke down and for it to be nice and smooth. So that's what my goal is now. And what I like about this is that you can make it as thick or as thin as you want it to be. If you want it to be a super thick soup, then you can just blend it and be done with it. But we're not going to do that. I like soup to be a little watery, not too, but not so thick that, you know, yeah, no, that's just not our idea of soup. So I'm going to blend that up, and then I'll come back. All right, so now, look how smooth that looks. But it's still pretty, you know, thick. To me, it's more like a pumpkin kind of thickness. So I know we're using canned goods this week, but if you remember right, I had some chicken broth left from, I think it was last week. So we're going to add that chicken broth to it. Now some of this chicken broth is going to cook down. You know, it's not going to stay like Yeah. And then I don't can with salt in any of my veggies, so we're going to add salt to it. And when I tasted it, I think Tom was right. Go ahead and use the sweet too. It was really, really good. And I'm sure it'll be even better now. I think it might be time for me to get a new blender thingy there, though. Immersion blender, because it's not as strong as it used to be. And so I'm going to get that stirred in there. As good as you can incorporate it. You know what I mean? Now I am going to make this into a creamy soup, but not quite yet. So see the difference now? If I need to add more water or, you know, more broth, I do have some that Tom brought up, so I can actually... So I'm going to turn that on medium, and I'm just going to let everything get heated up real good. Some of it will shrink down, you know what I mean, because of the heat, and that's okay. But I'm going to come back, and hopefully this turns out amazing. And you know what's been so rewarding this week? Tom had to take jars back down yesterday. And I have 7 jars up here to go back down. And I've been really using up some of the stuff that is from 21 and 22. And, you know, that's awesome because the 18-month thing they say, or 3 years through what I say on the new lids, as long as it's staying sealed and it looks, you know, still good and it smells good, all that good stuff, don't worry about it. When you can, you know, like your meats and stuff like that, I promise you they're not going to turn out beautiful. You know, if you think that they're going to look as pretty as they did in the jar when they come out, it's not how it works. That's why they call chicken ugly chicken. And believe me, it's the same way with beef, pork, anything. It all turns out like that. So think about it. You didn't mess anything up. Think about when you buy some of that chicken or hamburger, anything at the store. It is not beautiful when you open that can up. I can promise. So, just some other things. So I'm going to let that heat up. I'm pretty excited right now, actually. Alright, so I'm going to be honest with you. Next time, I would have only put 1 fork of garlic in there. Because you can taste the garlic. Which is fine. I like garlic. Now I'm going to add some heavy whipping cream to it. I'm not sure how much. Maybe a cup. I bought this for a recipe. I never used it, so got to use it up somehow, right? But I figured that'll make it a little bit more creamy. And I think a creamy soup will be amazing. This is really beautiful. Get that stirred together. And I don't know if I told you, but this is butternut squash. I don't know if I told you that or not. Anyway, it's butternut squash. I've got it all mixed in there now. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? And even after adding the milk, it really does have a beautiful color to it. So let's give it a try before I heat it back up. Let's see. That is really... If you would have asked me a couple of years ago, would I have made soup with butternut squash, I would have told you no. But I'm glad that I'm trying that, you know. I mean, we've got to step outside of our box and realize that things that we can isn't always meant to be just one thing. You know, we'll look at a can of tuna. how many different things that you can make with it, or a can of chicken, or whatever. So why can't we make other things like that too? So I am going to let that simmer until Tom gets home, and then let him take a taste test, but I think he's going to like it. Butternut squash actually is his favorite squash, so that works even better. So I'll be back when he gets home, and we'll taste test it. Well, hi, Tom.
Hello.
So I made butternut squash, and I use the sweet squash too. So he put some of those spicy strips in there instead of crackers. So give her a try. What's your favorite squash?
Butternut. Butternut, buttercup. Yeah, and acorn. I like acorn too.
Yeah. I think we have acorns canned downstairs too.
I think we do have a couple down there.
Yeah. We'd gotten a bunch of squash given to us a couple years ago, and we canned it all up.
We grew a lot of squash that one year.
No, we didn't.
But one year we
Zucchini.
did. Oh, a zucchini one though.
Yeah, we don't can that.
That's right, it was zucchini.
Yeah. So what do you think?
It's delicious.
You haven't taken your second bite. I'm a little nervous. Did Courtney get her pumpkin thing?
You didn't eat it.
Did you give the other ones away?
Yeah.
Or did you eat them all?
I gave one to Linda and Leonard because they're my pickle fans.
Oh. Did they like them?
They love them.
Awesome.
Leonard says, "Dude, that was so good." I go, "Yeah, it is."
So is this a winner soup dinner?
Yeah.
And we got 7 jars off the shelves.
Yeah.
Pretty good. All right, we're going to
Kind of empty down there in that corner.
Don't worry, I'll fill
With
it.
the sweet potatoes and the squash being gone, that whole corner where they all were, so
I guess I'll just have to fill it, huh?
I guess you'll just have to fill it. I know.
All right. You guys have a blessed night. Be a blessing. And goodbye, Tom.
Goodbye, Tom.
You guys have a great night.